What's up, everybody? Welcome into another episode of Bulls Latest. Your host, Matt Johnson here. Gonna start today's show by talking about the guy who is at the center of the NBA world right now in terms of the news, and that's Milwaukee Bucks superstar Giannis Antetokounmpo. I wanted to throw this report at you guys to start today. It's only one report. It's from Fox Chicago's Lou Canellis. And while Lou is very much plugged into this city, he's not a Bulls reporter, so take it for what you will. Giannis and his representative apparently reached out to Chicago about a potential deal previously, and the Bulls said they weren't interested at the time. They were not interested in breaking up their young core or changing their course of direction, which for Bulls fans out there, and I've been talking about it since I started this show back in May, but the Bulls finally feel like they're on a good course of action in terms of where this franchise is headed, in consideration for where they've been in years past, with kind of the veterans on the squad and in the organization, and not choosing a true direction in terms of building things the right way through youth and the draft. I think the organization would turn down something like this for what it would take to get a guy like Giannis to Chicago. You would probably have to blow up that entire plan, which a lot of Bulls fans will say is contradictory to what the Bulls brass has done since taking over. AK and Mark Eversley, time and time again, a few times now, have brought in veterans to kind of shape this roster rather than taking the high road of a direction of a young core and building it that way. So very interesting report by Lou Canellis there. The Bulls don't want to break up their young core. What? I mean, I'm sorry, but I very much like Modest Buzelis in the future, and what he appears to be developing into. And Kobe White, too, a very nice player. Josh Giddey has been awesome, but none of those players are even close to Giannis, and that's the other side of this. Like, Bulls fans are sitting there probably wondering, like, why would we not take a swing on a superstar like that? None of those guys are even on the same level as Giannis Antetokounmpo. There really can only be two reasons why the front office would turn down Giannis. The first being they truly have something special brewing in the young core, they believe, which truthfully, as much as I like those guys that I just listed, we know what their ceiling is without a true superstar, and that's not something that's going to take you over the top. The ceiling of this team right now, as it stands, with the young core that they have, it's a play-in, a play-in team or a win or two from flirting with a potential first-round exit series. This Bulls team is not in position to contend at the top of the Eastern Conference right now, and I don't think, not bringing in a guy like Giannis just doesn't make sense, and keeping the pieces that you currently have. And secondly, and the other reason I think that this could be why the front office does not want to do this, they have zero interest in taking on Giannis's current 3-year, $175 million contract. The Greek Freak is owed $54 million this season, $58 million next year, and $62 million the year after that. So he still has big paydays ahead of him here, and the Bulls front office knows that after acquiring Giannis, they'll have to add a few more pieces to try and build around him, which in turn would get them into luxury tax territory, which we know this franchise doesn't really have much interest in at all, and they've shown that. So, it's that report, though, and who knows, Lou Canellis is not an NBA guy, I'll say it again, but I just think that raises some eyebrows, given that one of the NBA's perennial superstars approached one of the more globally attractive franchises in all of sports and wanted to be a part of what they were doing. And the Bulls kind of shut that down in terms of looking at a longer vision of what their young core is going to provide to them. So, I don't know. There's a lot going on, a lot of news swirling. I saw that report and wanted to get that to you guys. Get your thoughts. Let me know in the comments what you think about this report in regard to Giannis and the Bulls. If it's true, Bulls fans probably aren't going to be too happy at the fact that the Bulls shut down an opportunity to have the Greek Freak be the face of the franchise in Chicago for years to come. So, it also was announced earlier today, the Bucks and Giannis Antetokounmpo have deemed he will be out 2 to 4 weeks with that calf injury that he sustained, which can be seen as interesting timing given the trade rumors popping up again. I doubt this is the last we hear of those rumors over the next several days. It's certainly going to continue to heat up, and the drama is not going to stop with Giannis. As I've seen already, the New York Knicks are the leading odds getters in acquiring Giannis Antetokounmpo if he were to change organizations there. I mean, New York and their timeline for going to the East, they were so close to winning a title last year. They're very close in a wide open Eastern Conference. Adding Giannis feels like the cherry on top to a year in which the Knicks can finally get over the hump and win another NBA title. So, we'll see what happens there with him. However, I just kind of wanted to look at, going forward, the turning point and focusing back in on the Bulls as a whole, the turning point for how things can be turned around, how the Bulls can turn their fortunes around. Really, there are key factors, 4 of them, in which I kind of look at here, in which the Bulls can do this. Starting with home cooking, the Bulls were better on the road than at home last season, which was very odd given that the formerly known as the Madhouse on Madison was such a rampant place to play, and the Bulls loved playing at home. But last year, a better road record was interesting. The Bulls obviously 6-3 at home to start off this year, coming off that loss against Brooklyn at home, another lowly opponent coming into the United Center, winning a ball game that the Bulls felt like they should have controlled. And I just think, off that bad loss to Brooklyn doesn't make things feel any better. But the Bulls need to start cooking at home again. I think that's going to be important when you look at this Bulls team from afar. It is like you need to get things done on your home floor and protect home court. I think that's important, especially against opponents like the Brooklyn Nets. So the other of which, looking at the Bulls rotation, it's majorly in flux here. Obviously, Kevin Huerter going down has hurt them. The Bulls now down several key guys in the rotation. Kobe White also now developing tightness in his other calf. This coming out the other day, not the one that initially was giving him issues before the start of the season and took so long for him to get back. It's the other calf. So now he's dealing with issues with that. So that's worth monitoring there. He's going to get imaging done on that, and what we're going to look at there. I just think the injuries are a major, major piece to what we've seen for this Bulls team, and have impacted this team. I mean, no good. I don't care how good you are. When you're down 7 key guys, it's tough to win a ball game. So I know a lot of people are throwing heat at Billy Donovan in terms of what he has not been able to do. But with that shorthandedness coming into play, I don't care, if you're playing Brooklyn or if you're playing, one of the top teams in the Eastern and Western Conference. It's tough to get a W when you're that shorthanded. There is some good news here with the injury report. Zach Collins is expected to make his season debut within the next 2 games, whether that's Friday night versus the Pacers at the United Center or Sunday night to cap off the week against Golden State. Zach Collins should be back, and we all remember after coming over last year how much of an impact he was, in the lineup for Chicago. He's much needed right now with all the injuries, and he had a hell of a preseason. If you guys remember, before he got hurt, he looked the part and looked really, really good in the preseason action that he was a part of for the Bulls here. So we'll see. Hopefully we see him in action here shortly. That's a little piece of good news. I know the injury report as a full picture here is not a good thing. The Bulls rotation is really taking a hit with all the guys that are down. So, kind of capping off today's show, I wanted to talk about looking at where this Bulls team is now in this losing streak and losing to the teams that they have down this stretch. What's the management and the front office's timeline look like? What factors will influence the team's decision-making going forward now? I really want to throw this at you guys. What do you think in terms of what factors will influence the decisions made going forward? Obviously, the Bulls have had trouble making the right decisions in recent years, whether that's bringing in guys like DeRozan and LaVine and seeing them go, or just not building it the right way. It's a tricky, tricky situation they find themselves in now at the early point in the season. I mean, we're not even to Christmas yet, and we're asking these questions of this team. The best way to kind of quiet eye at all of this is to win ball games, but being so shorthanded and beat up, it's going to be tough to do that. So what factors do you guys think will influence the decisions made going forward? I think you could see guys like Vooch and some other veterans get dealt as we move towards February. I mean, I've talked about this all summer, but if things trended towards the way they're looking right now, which unfortunately it's gotten to that point, but you could see a major shakeup with this organization. And, you know, in terms of what I started the show with today, Giannis, it doesn't seem like it's a fit right now. The Bulls need to figure out what direction they're heading. Now, they have a lot of core young pieces to this core right now, but with all the injuries and just the concoction of that and not winning ball games against far less superior opponents, it's not good right now, and it's very frustrating if you're a Bulls fan. I know I've been frustrated. You gotta hope that they come out Friday night and beat this Pacers team, who is also severely depleted. So they came close in their last contest against them in Indy. Hopefully we can get things back on track and kind of focus on the now. But let me know in the comments, mainly on that last one, what factors do you think will influence the decisions this team makes going forward? My answer to this, I think the Bulls are kind of gearing up to trade away some of these key pieces in Vooch and Io, and they could be kind of looking to trade some other pieces as well. Who knows where their heads are at? I also saw something, and this is kind of just off the top here, but Zion Williamson, will the Bulls really make an offer surrounding some of their core guys for a guy like Zion? Is Zion really that Pascal Siakam missing piece that they talked about in reports that they feel like they're missing from the blueprint Indy built their team with? They said they feel like they have their Tyrese Halliburton and Josh Giddey. Now they need their Siakam. Is Zion really the guy? He struggled to stay on the floor and has just been kind of a distraction to that Pelicans organization. So we'll see. A lot going on with this Bulls team. Let me know in the comments again what you guys think. I'd be interested to get some engagement on that. And as always, I want to thank you guys for joining me on another episode of Bulls Latest here. Let's get a win against Indy Friday and move in the right direction here once again and start to. Things are tough right now for Bulls fans, I can assure you that. So thanks, guys. We will see you next time.